And she rightly pointed out that most students really do not know what they want to be. And that's a very scary thought, because 18 to 22 is when you discover yourself. It's when you discover what you really want to do in life. It's the process. You just can't wake up one day and suddenly realize what you want to do in life. It just doesn't happen like that. You have to fight it. You got to discover it. You got to study it. And for that, you need to know yourself. And nobody wants to know themselves, because everybody's really busy, right? To know yourself is the greatest gift, because that's when you're truly trying to find what's your purpose and what is that one talent that you're really good at. Can anyone tell me, how do you know what you're truly passionate about? How do you know what your true passion is? Can anyone tell me that? The only way to discover your true passion is there something that you learned by yourself? That means you were not taught by a teacher or somebody else. You learned it by yourself, and you became so good at it that you could teach it to someone else. That is true passion. Whatever that is. So you took something, you were so interested in it that you learned it yourself. You didn't wait for somebody to teach you. And once you learned it, you became so good at it that you became a teacher, and you can teach someone whatever that is. Now, that can be anything. Whatever that is your true passion. The important thing to remember here is that whatever this thing is should not be associated with society, should not be associated with what your parents think about you, should not be associated with what people around you think about it. It could be anything. Because when it comes to our society, if you're not passionate about engineering or doctor, then you're not good at anything else, right? But this is what you've been sent to this earth for. It could probably be, you could be great carpenter. Now I know that you'll be like, why should I be cutting wood? But then that's your talent. You could be a great comedian and be like, how will I make money in that? I don't know yet, but since that's your talent and that's your passion, I'm pretty sure you'll make a lot of money with that. So it's really, really important that between 18 to 22, do not waste your time by just studying engineering books. In fact, you should discover yourself. And I think the coolest way to discover yourself is to travel. I think that's the most efficient way to discover who you really are. Now, by traveling, I do not mean taking a holiday in Goa. I don't mean like going to a beach in Goa and just sitting there and wondering what's going on. But traveling, I mean seeing new places by yourself, alone, going and discovering new things, talking to random people, talking to strangers, experiencing new cultures. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. You just need a backpack, a bus ticket, and India is wide enough to go anywhere you want. And if your parents are rich, well, you could backpack through Europe or South America. But travel alone. And when you travel alone, you experience a lot of things about yourself. You get to see places you've never seen. You get to talk to people you've never known. And you suddenly start realizing that the small world you were living in is not small anymore. It's really, really massive. It's this beautiful planet that we've been sent to. And because of our daily lives and because of our daily routine and because of everything that we do, we forget the most important thing in life, which is to travel. Because if you haven't seen God's gift, then why even be here, right? So I think traveling is extremely important. And the Indian way of travel is probably the worst way of travel. Because the Indian way of travel is to take a holiday, go there, get drunk, abuse everyone around, litter that place, and shout and scream at people around you. That is not traveling. Traveling is just being an observer. Is going to a random place that you never thought you could go to and being like an observer, trying to see what's going on. It's like a movie, right? When you're watching a movie, you're sitting, in a hall like this and you're trying to watch the movie. That's what traveling is about. It's the whole scene that's playing right in front of you. and how you try to be a part of it, and how you try to, be amongst them. Go to the northeast, go to Rajasthan, go to middle of India, go to Sri Lanka, go to Nepal, go to Bhutan. These are places that have cultures that are so unique and are so different from what we do right now, which gives you a really different perspective as to what is the meaning of you guys being here. I think the greatest miracle of life is us being born as a human being. If you consider the math, all of you all know that the universe is infinite, right? It's infinite. There is no end to the universe, right? All of you all know that, right? Your physics 101. The universe is infinite. Now, when you take a constant that is infinite and you take the probability of that infinite universe and that one planet, not even a planet, that one speck in the universe to have life. So imagine the entire Earth was one big beach, or one big desert, sorry. The entire Earth was one big desert. In that big desert, take one small grain of sand, that is the Earth, right? That is who we are in this great sense of the universe. Now, in this small grain of sand that is Earth, there is life. In this planet Earth where there is life, there are millions of species. But there's one species that has the ability to think, that has the ability to write poetry, that has the ability to paint, that has the ability to go up in space, that has the ability to be passionate. That is the human race. And you are born as a human being. Now can you do the math of the probability of you being born as a human being? You can't have a probability, right? Because there's an infinite constant, and that is the universe. So imagine the miracle of you being born as a human being. Like, even the word miracle is an understatement, that you were born as a human being. Now that you're born as a human being, it's extremely important to treat this life as a gift. And the only way to treat this life as a gift is to be passionate. Because passion is what makes us a human being. Passion is what really, really makes us who we are. You don't want to go back and, God is standing there and he's like, so what did you do? I mean, in the entire universe, there's only one planet with life and I chose you to be a human being in that. What did you do with it? And we're like, nothing much. I was born, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I did engineering. After engineering, I took up a tech job because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And then I really loved this girl, but I didn't have the guts to tell my parents I loved her. So I married somebody else. And then I had kids with somebody. I mean, I had kids with that same wife, but I had kids. And then I started worrying about my kids' education. And then I started worrying about all of that. So then God says, yeah, all of that is cool. It's necessary. But what did you do with your life? Nothing much. Just read the newspaper, went to work, came back, watched television and went to sleep. That's about it. So then God says, you idiot. I sent you to probably the most awesome thing in the universe. And you just went there and wasted your life and came back. Just wasted it. That's an answer that you should never, ever give. Just remember that everyone in this room is going to be dead in the next 60 years. Right? Dead. Over. You'll be beneath this ground. So the fact is, each one of us has to die. Nobody is immortal. And if we have to die, and there is a super, super, super strong time watch that is ticking every second that you breathe. Every second you breathe, you're getting closer to death. That's the only truth, that we all have to die. Since we all have to die, it's extremely important that we treat this life as a gift. Because you do not want to be 70 years old, sitting on the deathbed, and your nurse comes in and says, you know what, you got probably 5 minutes left. You're going to die any moment now. You have any regrets? And be like, oh shit, this is it. I'm gone. I'm going to go now. Like, I'm going to die. It's over. Like, yeah, you're done. And you're like, shit, I wanted to jump off that plane and I didn't do that. I wanted to go beneath the seas and I didn't do that. I wanted to travel and I didn't do that. I wanted to fall in love and I didn't do that. I wanted to hang out with my friends and I didn't do that. I just wasted my life. Just remember that when your nurse comes and says, do you have any regrets? You say, no, I've lived my life to the fullest and to the best of my capabilities. And I'm ready to go now. That should be